Hey everyone, Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, with another What Sold on eBay video this week. I hope everyone is having an amazing week so far. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. Definitely go down there and click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications, and click the like button anytime during this video. For those that are new to the channel, what I do is maybe once or twice a week, I go over what sold in our eBay store or an eBay shop. Our link is going to be below. It's from the American Cancer Society. I am the eBay hub manager there. So 100% of the proceeds go to cancer research. Amazing organization, amazing people, amazing products that come in. So definitely check it out for sure. But let's get right into it. We sold actually a lot of jewelry this week. We're going to go over like some of the highlights of what we had and what we sold. And so let's get right into it. Once again, definitely click the like button anytime during this video. First up, we have this 18 karat gold enamel pin brooch. This is a ship. It's a pirate ship. It is enamel. And for those that don't know, enamel's this kind of filled in pigment right here. It is a hard kind of pigment once it cures. As we can see, there was a little bit of missing down here. But this thing was tested at 18 karat gold. Gold has this really crazy particular shine. We did do an acid test on this, an acid scratch test. I definitely highly not suggesting, putting drops of acid on any of this kind of stuff when you're doing testing, just to kind of do the scratch test from different areas. But I've been doing this for a while, long enough to kind of, you can't always tell, but when you see this kind of color and brilliance, it's usually going to be gold, especially if it's not magnetic and you kind of have all the signs. And of course, I think this was supposed to be like an 18 karat back. I don't know why it was backwards, but I thought that was pretty funny. And we got some more marks right here. It's actually a really interesting piece. Weighed about 21 grams, but it's kind of hard to tell how much of the enamel, because enamel could add a substantial amount of weight to it, and these pearls. But anyways, we took a best offer for $500 on this one. This was probably the best sale of the week so far. One particular customer bought like 4 or 5 different pieces from us, and that was actually really amazing. So this is actually a really good sale. Next up, we have this 14 karat gold Jewish Hebrew bracelet. Now, we couldn't quite figure out what this says. I'm not even sure if this is even the right way up. I did a Google reverse search. I couldn't even figure out what this actually says. I'm assuming it's a religious bracelet. But anyways, this was a 13.8 grams, 14 karat gold. We sold this one for $286. As we sold, like I said, there was this one customer that came in and had some pretty good offers on our stuff. So we definitely took them, and these were some very nice sales for sure. And another thing that made this easier was, they're stamped, and of course we did the scratch acid test on that. And so this was a pretty solid piece here for sure. Next up, we have this Gucci watch bezel parts. This thing wasn't working. This was actually a pretty good sale. Of course they got the traditional green and red Gucci stamp. This thing actually came in an amazing case, as you can see here. I think this was a Paula sale, yes. But I think Pleasanton, California. Let me see. Actually, no, this wasn't Paula. But, huge shout out to Pleasanton. This actually was bidded on up to $134 with 44 bids. And this was definitely a nice sale. And unfortunately, the watch didn't work. It probably would have went for higher. Next up, we have this Judith Leiber black satin crystal clutch bag purse. This is a vintage style purse, and for those that don't know and have never heard of this brand, definitely look out for this particular. I didn't even take a, that just shows you I was off my game this time, because I didn't even take a nice photo of the, oh there it is. I guess this is as good as you're gonna get, because the angle must have been weird. But anyways, that's what the logo looks like inside. This was a vintage clutch. So definitely Bolo, look out for Judith Leiber. Not all of them are going to be worth a lot of money, but some of them are. So definitely check out Judith Leiber bags and purses and all that kind of stuff. Next up, we have this vintage 14 karat gold turquoise ring and earring set. I assume these were for Russia. I'm not exactly sure where these were from, but doing research, I saw that this same almost exact style kept coming up for Russian jewelry, and it was vintage because the only thing that had a marking was actually the clasp, not the clasp, the studs. And I want to show you guys a pro tip real quick. When you see earrings that are gold and you're not sure exactly if they're gold or diamonds or any of that kind of stuff, when you see screw on, I don't even know what they're called, the little clasp, the little butterfly clasp on the back of an earring. If you know the exact definition of what that's called, leave it in the comments below. I'm a guy, I don't know what that's called. The little stopper, whatever it is. If you see that those are screwbacks, that usually will indicate that it's something that is of value. They're not going to put screwbacks on a cheap piece of steel or plated silver or anything like that. So that's like a huge pro tip. Another pro tip for those that are into jewelry, there's a lot of vintage jewelry that's not marked or labeled, so be worried about that. That's actually one of the things that you can come up in garage sales or estate sales for people that don't know what's going on, because they see it's not marked, they figure it's just tone, but that's just one of those things you need to look out for. A lot of vintage jewelry isn't marked, so just be aware of that next time you're checking stuff out. Next up, we have these vintage Gerda Lingard black amber earrings. These are Art Deco. These things actually look pretty funky. As you can see here, they got the clips, and you know what's awesome enough is the fact that this particular jewelry had a mark on the back. Not all jewelry is going to have signatures, they call them, or hallmarks, or maker's marks, you should say also. So that was really cool with this piece. This sold for $61. So you never know with these kind of funky costumey jewelry type things. Some of the signature ones are worth a lot of money, so definitely check those out if you can look up the signatures. Next up, we have this sterling silver 10K plated crystal stones bracelet earring set. This was actually a pretty nice set. Came with a ring, set of earrings, and a matching bracelet. Now the thing is, if this was gold, it would have went for a lot more money. I think I ended up taking a best offer for $50. We had this on the site for like over a year that I noticed, so I actually redid the photos. I was hoping to get close to that 124, but to be honest, like, this is silver, and silver value is really not even worth, and the stones aren't even real, so it's not like anything was super crazy with these. So just be wary when you're looking at things to know what you're looking for. Next up, we have this Loro Piana silk button-down long sleeve blouse. We talked about Loro Piana before, and it's so uncomfortable up here. I'm in the attic, and it's like 100 degrees up here. It's like the summertime is like almost coming in. I got to get an air conditioner up here. It's miserable. Anyways, back to this silk button-down Loro Piana dress button thing. We saw a lot of Loro Piana. We get a certain donor that donates a lot of this high-end clothing, and we've been sending a lot of stuff to the Real, and yeah, never mind. Next up, we have this Chloe black skirt yellow Mardi Gras dress, and this is actually a vintage dress, or a vintage skirt, excuse me. I'm thinking this is from the 80s, possibly 91, 92, even around there. And for those that don't know, this brand Chloe is a bolo brand for sure. Some of the newer stuff goes for like $800, $1,000 for just like a t-shirt. Something. No, not a t-shirt. The t-shirts probably are like $400. But anyways, this is a brand to look out for. It's very high end, and it's very sought after in the fashion kind of circles and stuff. But this is an older one. It was kind of funny. One of the shop managers saw this and was like, I don't know who would ever want this, but I thought, like, some millennial 19-year-old would probably want this. And, you know, it's got the funky colors. It's got Mardi Gras kind of. I didn't even know what to put for keywords, so I said Mardi Gras because doesn't it look like it? But anyways, we took a best offer for $50. This sold, I think, in less than 24 hours. And so this was a very nice sale. Next up, we have this Sinclair Lewis black hardcover signed edition of King's Blood Royal. Sinclair Lewis, you know, he's done a lot of books. He's not really super famous, but, you know, there are people that collect his work. This one happened to be a first edition also, which added to it, and signed. And I think I actually had the letter. Oh, you know, oh my goodness. I hope that I actually put that letter in this. I actually shipped this today, and I didn't even notice that there was the certificate of authenticity. Ay. So I think I actually folded them in there when I did this, so I think we're good. I wouldn't have actually kept it separate, so I think we're good. We'll know soon enough. I'll check tomorrow. But anyways, this was a nice sale at $99. You know, more like well-known artists like Ernest Hemingway and stuff like that is the really stuff that you need to look for. Stephen King, you know, usually deceased authors in between like 1900 and 1950, 1960s. That stuff actually goes for a pretty good amount of money. I think the low end on an Ernest Hemingway signed book is like $1,000, $1,200. You might find one for $800. Some of them I've seen go as high as $5,000. I think Whom the Bell Tolls or something like that. That actually goes for a ton if you can get a first edition that's signed. And that kind of stuff is out there. Oh, another pro tip. I just want to say this real quick before I end this particular item. Always open up books and look inside the first couple pages. That's where usually authors sign. I've been to Goodwill and found stuff that I've sold for $200 or $300 that was signed. So just FYI. Next up, we have this 1949 10-karat gold class ring. This was a thing that actually started off that huge sale for those other pieces, so that was a really cool sale. Anyways, we took a best offer for $50. Usually these kind of 10-karat gold class rings can go anywhere between $50 to $150. You just gotta, it just depends on certain things as far as like, you know, if the school, you know about the school, where it's from. There's actually particular companies that have made it. This thing was kind of rubbed out, and we had to figure out exactly, you know, what carat this was by the test. And we took a best offer for $50 on this. And what was crazy is after this sale, the eBay customer, I've noticed they've been buying jewelry from us. So I messaged them and said if they wanted to make any offers on any of the other stuff we had. And this $50 sale turned into $1,100 worth of jewelry sold. So if you see repeat customers, always, you know, doesn't hurt to ask. Next up, we have this Lego Minifigure Lot. Now, the next few items that I'm going to show, I want to talk a little bit more about because we do auctions. Someone got a super deal on this. Now, I could have sold some of these pieces individually for anywhere between $8 to $12 a piece. Not all of them, but a few of them. I guess I could have sold the Obi-Wan Kenobi and the little droid there for $15. The Boba Fett might even have went for $10. Those set of stormtroopers down there, those 5, could have went for 15. What I'm saying is I've noticed that the days of auctions are pretty much over. I remember back in the day when you can set an auction and people would bid up the things, even with there was a ton of people watching this, and it still didn't happen. So I'm going to be more moving towards doing just buy it nows for this kind of stuff instead of just letting it go, because there's some still pretty good deals on our site. And by the way, you can check out the link below. There's lots of great deals, so go and check that out. But what I'm saying is for stuff like this in the future, we're going to be doing more buy it nows instead of these auctions, because they just aren't cutting it anymore. And this is another perfect example right here. This Gameboy Lot back in the day, you know, if it got the right eyes, could have maybe went for $40 or $50. But instead this went for $10.50. I could have probably sold one game out of here for $20. This Kirby's Dream Land game right here, even though it wasn't in great condition, I probably actually could have got 15 for it because it's not in great condition. This Mario Land 2, if it was in mint condition, probably could have went for 15. This Kirby's Dream Land, if it was mint condition, could have probably went for 20. So that's what I'm saying. Like these things next time, I'm going to part them out instead of doing bidding, because I thought for sure this would have been bid up and it didn't. So I was a little disappointed in this sale, but this is part of the game. You know, you learn as you go. And so next time, that's not going to happen for this. Next up, we have this Raphael Tuck Confederate Postcard, and a huge shout out to the auction professor Don, who turned me on to Raphael Tuck postcards. If you ever see those are greeting cards, and it'll say right here on the side, Raphael Tuck. That's a really good brand. That's a Bolo brand for postcards. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this would have actually went for more if I did a buy it now. And, you know, if anyone's watching that knows, and I looked these all up on Hip Postcards. I couldn't find this one in particular. But, you know, it was all in the wheelhouse of $4.99, $10 around there. So these particular kind of postcards, other stuff. So I'm just putting this down there to show you guys that postcards, you know, if you know, it's all about volume. If you sold 100 of these in a month, that's $500. And sometimes you can buy these in lots of, like, you know, 80, 100 for, you know, $20 or $30. So there's that. Another good deal that someone got, you know, $9.99 plus $9.99 shipping, so $20 for 5 sealed Magic playing card decks. I think the Ghost one in there in the top corner, the white pack, could have went for like $15 by itself. So we had this up for many times. We relisted this many times, and I was surprised that no one actually bought this. There was no really good retail arbitrage on these. If you would have put these on Amazon, I don't think these were going for any more than $12 a piece on Amazon. So the fees would have been crazy if you were doing retail on this. But you could have bought this and then put it on your site, you know, for $10 a pack, plus you know, like $3 or $4.99 shipping, and they would have sold eventually, because these are actually very high in demand Magic playing cards. And for those that what I'm talking about, I'm talking like magician stuff. And so yeah, there's that. Anyways, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. If you enjoyed this video, definitely click the like button and subscribe. Check out our eBay store in the link below for the American Cancer Society. And once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. I really appreciate you guys' time, and we'll see you next time. Take care.